It's time for another Dice Tower review with Z Garcia.
Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at a small card game called Dokey, which as you can tell looks very cartoony, very silly. It looks like a kid's game, and certainly it could be played with kids, but it is a cooperative card game in which you are attempting to play out the entire deck of cards into a pattern dictated by the rules without messing up, without things shutting down. I'm going to give you a look at how the game works, then we'll come on back and we'll talk about it a little bit more. The objective of the game is to play out all of the cards here to the table in the pattern dictated by the rules, cooperatively with the other players, or you can play solitaire as well. The cards represent different musical acts. They have suits, which is the color, as well as a number, and they are going to go all the way from 1 to 8. And there are also a few equal cards which you can choose to put in. There are 3. You can choose to put in all 3 for an easier game, and for each you remove, the game's going to be a little bit more difficult, all right? So they're all in here right now. I'm going to shuffle this up. I'm going to say we're playing with 3 players, in which we give each one of those players 6 cards in their hand, and then you are ready to begin, all right? And we are going to set the deck aside, just over here for now. I'll give those hands out like so, and this will be the start player. So what you're going to be doing is completing columns, and once you've completed a column, meaning you've played a card in front of each of these, then you'll start working on the next column over. You are also working on these rows. Each row is going to have its own suit, and once you've designated a row as, say, the blue suit, only blue cards will go there, also possibly some of the equal cards. So I'm going to take a look at my hand here, and I'm going to play this card right there. I know that will now be the orange suit, and no other color will go there. It's also important to note a few different placement rules, okay? First rule is that the numbers as they are played must always be moving up. So sequentially they are going up. You can skip numbers, that's fine, but they will be moving up. You cannot mix suits, as I said. You cannot start working on a column before the one before it is completely filled in. So if I have 4 cards here and this is still empty, that is the next card to be played. I cannot start working on the next column until that one is fully done. Also, these 0 cards, which are basically reset cards, each row is going to have 2 placed here at the beginning, and you must play 1 in each column and only 1, all right? And so, again, if I've played that there and someone has played that there, someone has played that here, then we know that one of these 2 is going to be a color, not one of these 3 colors, one of the other 2 suits, and the other one gets a 0, all right? The 0 also comes in handy because it will reset the row, and you can start playing low numbers after that again. And so, for example, if I've played a 7 here and then later did that, I could, of course, now start all the way back at the 1 again if I want to, after the 0. It just must be higher than the last number, except when you reset. So that's basically it. There's also a few rules for communication between the players, and that is you may not show your hand to another player. You may not say or give hints about the values of the cards in your hand, but you may reveal how many cards you have of a specific suit. If someone asks, how many blue cards do you have? I can say I have 1. You can also suggest a suit that you would like to play. You could tell people, let me play in blue, please. Let me be the one to drop that card in there. And you can also be the one, you can say where you'd like the reset card to go for this round. So you can talk about that. Just no specific numbers, no showing your hand to another player. So we're going to give this a shot here. I'm going to play there, and then once you've played, you draw a card. It'll be this player's go. They'll take a look at their hand, and they're going to play here, and they'll draw. Then this player is going to take a look. They'll play there and draw. Comes back to me. This is not great because I have blue, which are really high cards, and green, which are also really high cards. So I'll do this. I'll just reset that one and hope that whoever picks another color will be fine. And so I don't need to draw because I did not play one from my hand. And then this player, they can go with the they'll go with the blue, which means this will be the green column here. And now that that's done, then we can start playing in the next column. And so, for example, this player could play there and then draw and so on. Now, there's one more thing I haven't explained, which are the equal cards. And those, oh, this is bad because I should have said, oh, let me play an orange, right? That's a little bit of the cooperation is where that comes in. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm not playing a full game anyway. Okay, so this player here has an equal card in their hand. The way this works is they can go after anything. And so, for example, I could play that there, and then the next player just has to play higher than a 2. That's why these make the game easier, because they allow for a little, they allow you to not be as precise as you might have to be without them in the deck, okay? And that's basically it. And then, again, there will be a card placed in here, a single card, that is one of these reset cards, like so. And then someone will play a red card just for the sake of completion here and looking pretty. There we go. This continues until you've drawn out the whole deck, and then some more until you've got 10 of these columns all built up. That's the entire deck. If you can pull that off, you are a very bright person and you have just won the game together with your playing partners. If not, then you have lost. And if you want to, they say you can count how many cards you played, and that can be your score. Or you can just treat the game as an all or nothing. You win or you lose. That should give you a pretty good idea of how the game operates. When you play solitaire, it's the exact same thing, except you have a larger hand. You have 10 cards in your hand, and the turns are very, very quick. All right, so let's go back up top, and let me tell you what I thought of Okey Dokey. All right, so there you have it. Let me first talk about the physical production of the game and then about the gameplay itself. The TMG did a fantastic job with this one. The box is sturdy. It's very attractive. It is bright, colorful, really well illustrated. Graphic design in the game is excellent. The whole thing, from a production point of view, is very well done. Cards also, superb quality there. I figured I was going to like the game because it is from designer Hisashi Hayashi, who I enjoyed. I enjoyed his games. And so I figured I would dig it, and I like cooperative games anyway. I also play solitaire. Reading the rules, I was a little bit unsure, but once I played it, I then played it again, and then I played solitaire, and I've really enjoyed this one. This game, to me, a few years ago, there was a game that was nominated for the Game of the Year in Germany, the Spiel des Jahres, and that is called The Game. That card game, it wants to be Okey Dokey when it grows up. That's what I feel about this one. The game, this does everything that wanted to do in a cleaner way, in a simpler, more straightforward manner, while still giving you all the cooperation, all the tension, all the interest, and way more color, and as something I can actually bring out with the family, and they might want to play, as opposed to The Game, which every card looked the same, and it was like a weird skull thing. This blows that game away for me, but on its own merits. It's clever, it is quick, it scales very well. I can play this with, solitaire, and I've really enjoyed that. I can play with 2, 3, all great. It plays up to 5 players, and it also says for some reason that it's between 16 and 32 minutes. No joke, that's exactly what it says. But yeah, the limitations that have been put in place here for how you play are clever and not so restrictive that you feel like you have no choices. But every now and then you gotta do a bad play and hope you can dig yourself out of it later. So that I really enjoy. If I had to nitpick here, one thing I don't like in the game is the end game. I'm not a huge fan of the style of game in which near the end of the game your hand clogs up and you simply lose. And yeah, you can score, but there is no partial victory, really. It's an all or nothing thing, and it is very tough to do sometimes. And so that would be a nitpicky thing. But again, that's nothing, you know. I'm just looking for a thing at this point. Everything else is on point with this one. I would very much recommend it if you are someone that enjoys small solitaire games, something you can knock out quickly. Definitely check this one out. It does have a really large footprint. That's the other thing to watch out for. This will not be one you can play on the airplane. It's massive. You're going to need a lot of room. But if you've got that space and a few minutes to play, this is great. So yeah, this one's going to get a seal of excellence from me. Okey Dokey, really dorky name, but great gameplay. Very happy to have discovered this one, and I think you're going to be too.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.